What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Doctorddub here, and welcome to a very exciting video. The Stardew Valley multiplayer is finally out. It's just in beta form, but if you want to get into it and play it right away, just like I did, this is how you're going to go about doing it. So you can see right here that we now have the option to play co-op, but your game's probably not going to look like this if you haven't done anything yet. So what you have to do is you have to head over to Steam and right-click on Stardew Valley, go down to Properties, and then at the top here, you'll see a Betas tab. When you first do this, this drop-down menu at the top will just say None Apt Out of All Beta Programs. You won't see this option here. Beta help test new updates before they go live. In order to get that, you need to type in the beta access code down below, which is Jumping Junimos, and then hit check code. It'll say access code correct, private beta is now available. Then you go back up to the drop-down menu, click on beta, and hit close. You should see Stardew Valley update queued. It will download very quickly. It's almost done already. This is all in real time. And it'll now say Stardew Valley beta. You go ahead and launch that, and you are back here at this lovely screen with this brand new, fancy, shiny co-op button. And as you might have guessed, that's what you click to get into multiplayer. So at the top here, you've got two tabs, Join and Host. If you want to join an existing game, you do that under the Join tab. If you want to host a game, that's what you do under the Host tab. If you join a game, you will be joining as a farmhand, which gives you almost all the same access as the host farmer, but not quite. As the host, you get full access to do pretty much everything you would normally do in a single-player game. So if you join, you have the option to join a LAN game, which basically means you're doing more or less couch co-op with someone sitting in the same house as you on the same network. Or you can enter an invite code, which is generated by a host player, but this is kind of an irrelevant feature because there is a Steam overlay you can use while in any game that you launch from Steam, which is just Shift-Tab. And if you click on a friend that you have online, click on the little drop-down arrow, and once you're in the game, you actually have an invite to game option, which I'll show you here in a sec. So if I host a game, I made a test world earlier, and we just kind of grinded the heck out of it. So I'm going to host the farming farm. And now that I'm in game, the server, if you will, is now available. So if I press Shift Tab, I can invite a player to a game. It'll say an invitation to join your game has been sent. And it's as simple as that. They get the invite, and if they're on Stardew Valley already, it'll actually give them a pop-up as well. And then you can start playing together. So here you can see the three new styles of farmhand huts. There's the, I'm calling it the birch hut, the stone hut, and then the log hut. And you can actually, if you're only building one of these, you can actually choose which one you want and where you want it. On the inside, it looks exactly the same as your normal farming house looks, except for this dresser. This is a new addition. So when a player logs off, you can see this chest right here is the same size as a player's maximum inventory. So whenever they log off, their entire inventory, including all their tools, gets dumped into this. You can see I've already played around with this a little bit. I can pick up their tools. So now I have 3 scythes. So make sure you're playing this game with people you trust, because you can very easily troll your friends by putting something in front of their door or a mess of other ways to really just mess with them. So make sure you're playing this with people you trust. Otherwise, you're going to get griefed really hard. But when you're creating a brand new game, you want to host a new farm. And when you do this, all this is the same as normal. You can choose your farm layout, you can choose your name, your farm name, favorite thing, all that's the same, except on the left here. This is all new to co-op. So you can choose how many starting cabins you have. If you choose this option right here under cabin layout, the nearby option, that will look like what you just saw, with all 3 farms right next to each other, all at the top of the map. Given I've only tested this on the standard farm, so I do not know how that will look on all the others. You're welcome to play around with that if you like, but you can probably envision them being placed very close to the primary farmhouse. If you choose separate, again, I tested this on the standard farm, they are all over the place. They are randomly placed, more or less, about the farm. The more you place, as far as starting cabins go, the more that will be there on day 1 when you step out of your farmhouse with your 15 parsnip seeds ready to go. Here, you can adjust your profit margin. So if you're playing with one other person, you might want to drop it down to 50%. The things you sell cost or are worth 50%. You don't make nearly as much money. So it tries to balance it out and make it not nearly as overwhelming. Right here, you've got a text version of all of that. So starting cabins. You start with 1 to 3 cabins already in place, allowing your friends to join immediately. Alternatively, you can select none and build the cabins yourself. This allows you to choose what cabin you want to build and where you want to build it. There are 3 types of cabins. Each one requires a different amount of resources, as you can see here on screen. You can choose where you want it. It's a 5x2 footprint, so you can place it wherever you want on the farm, but just be very careful because you can actually place it in a location that will allow your farmhand to walk out onto a body of water if you're doing it on the Riverland farm and cause them to glitch, and it will basically break their game, as we found out in testing. Keep in mind, this is all just beta. All this can still change, but as of now, that was our experience. Here we've got cabin layout. If you decide to start your farm with pre-existing cabins, you can choose between the 2 layout styles. Nearby places all cabins near the main farmhouse, encouraging a communal farming style. Separate places the cabins far apart, allowing more room for independence. Profit margin. Adjust the profit margin, the money you earn, on goods you sell. Normal is the original Stardew Valley experience. More experienced and/or larger groups may wish to decrease the margin. As the host of a farm, you have a new option in your options menu, which is the multiplayer section. You can set the server mode to be offline, friends only, or invite only. As I mentioned before, I would highly recommend you do friends only, as griefing is going to be absolutely terrible in this if you play with randoms. You can check these, you can read those for yourself, and you can either invite friends or show your invite code. You're not going to be able to see mine here, but this is the code that you would give your friend if you want them to be able to join your game. Or, as I mentioned earlier, you can just hit Shift-Tab and go and invite your friends through the Steam overlay, which in my opinion is much easier than giving them a code that they have to remember or write down. This just makes it a lot easier. But alright guys, that brings us to the end of this short and sweet video. Hopefully that gives you everything you need to know to get started playing the multiplayer beta with your friends. Remember to post on the Stardew Valley forums if you come across any bugs. Concerned Ape is fantastic about patching bugs pretty much as they happen. He usually sits on the forums and fixes bugs on the fly. Sometimes they're fixed within minutes as you comment them. So make sure to be sending any bugs you find to him. Remember, this is just a beta. Everything you see is subject to change. I did encounter a few bugs during my playthrough where I had an axe stuck in my head. I was running in place. We glitched someone into the water and they couldn't walk or move. There's definitely some bugs, but this is absolutely amazing, and I hope you guys are excited to jump in and get started. I will be definitely making some more videos coming up soon, hopefully tomorrow, covering some of the more detailed elements to Stardew Valley multiplayer and things you can expect. But for now, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you'd enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.